The Walla Walla Valley has become a major destination for wine enthusiasts with over 100 wineries to choose from. And what better way to get around the valley than in a Tesla Model X? Tesla Winery Tours owner Chris Wood tells us how he got started and what you can expect when you come along on the ride. I want to go back to when it all started, just about 2 years ago when Jim Wright came here to Walla Walla. He was the original founder. Tell me more about Jim's life.
Yeah, so Jim moved up here to share his passion for wine as well as eco-sustainability with the Tesla, and wanted to basically have a working retirement and spend his days up here with people who are happy to be here and happy to spend a day touring.
And Jim had such a big impact here in Walla Walla. You know, everywhere he went, people know him when he pull up.
Absolutely, yeah. He was very well known. He was one of the most engaging, most happy-go-lucky men that you could ever meet. You were his friend within talking with him for 30 seconds. The day I met him, he actually let me drive this car. I mean, he was just an absolutely incredible guy. And his impact for sure is remembered, and people just will remember him as just the amazing, incredible, caring, passionate guy that he was.
Why did he want to start up something like this here in Walla Walla?
Well, we wanted to basically showcase the fact that eco-sustainability is something that should be more in the forefront, especially of the tourism industry. And here in the Walla Walla Valley, we really do have an emphasis on sustainability and growing practices that are friendly to the environment. And encompassing the Tesla into that was really just kind of a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And they really do go hand in hand, and it's really great to be able to travel throughout the valley here and know that we're not polluting or making any other additional impact.
So how did you and Jim connect in the first place?
I was working at a winery the day I met him. It was one of his first days up here, and had shared that he had purchased a Tesla and had an idea for a wine tour company, of which I was ecstatic about. I immediately asked to look at the car, got on my hands and knees, in fact, to look underneath it, and that was the day, he let me drive it. And one thing led to another, and we worked together, and we had a really great partnership.
A little bit of a different scene for you. We're here in the Tesla Model X, and obviously Chris once again with us. He's giving us a little tour of a little taste of what it would be like if you book the Tesla for a day.
That's right, yes. In all instances in a tour, you will definitely be able to enjoy the Tesla and all of its features. Of course, not only is it all electric, but it's very quick as well, but also very comfortable. Because there's no engine, road noise is very, very low. So really it's just a comfortable, quiet, really nice ride through the countryside.
How many people does this seat?
So I can take groups up to 6, mm-hmm. And in fact, there are 7 total seats, so it can fit groups up to 6 quite comfortably, and wine as well. Always have to save room for the wine.
Right. Talk to me about the hours that you could.
So really I'm available whenever people are interested in touring. Generally get started around 10 or 11 in the morning, but if people are interested in dinner or just transportation of any kind, I'm happy to provide as well. And generally tours go for around 4 hours or so, but we can stay out for as long as 6 or even 7 hours.
And you will pick them up if need be, wherever they're at, make it easy to accommodate them?
Yeah, it's important to not have to worry about any aspect of your transportation for the day. So I'm more than happy to pick people up and drop them off wherever they like, and if they decide that I need to drop their wine off later, I can make that happen as well.
Do you give them any kind of winery recommendations when they're here?
Absolutely. So I kind of customize tours for people if they do know what kind of wines they like, but they don't know the wineries. Of course, I'm also happy to stop at any specific winery as well, but really I just cater to your wine needs, and whether it is a specific varietal or maybe you just want some scenic beauty as well, I can make that happen.
So Chris, I will say what makes you stand alone from other companies that might be out there. You know a lot about your wine. Yeah,
I've worked directly in the industry here for the last 6 years. I know a lot of the people, I know the winemakers, and really I know this valley like the back of my hand now, and I'm really passionate about sharing that with people. So yeah, I'm more than happy to show you something special, show you something secret, and hopefully have you learn something along the way as well.
What if someone wanted to go out in the vineyard? Do you know, would that be a possibility?
Absolutely, yeah. If someone specifically wanted to check out a vineyard up close, be more than happy to show them that, kind of show you the different life cycles and stages that can happen in a vineyard. And I can also speak on the geology as well in the valley here, so more than happy to have a fully encompassing tour for you. It should be educational as well as fun.
So if someone wants to book with you, I know you said you're already booked up through
Weekends book up really fast. The earlier people can get a hold of me, the better. Weekdays are often what I'd say is the best time to tour, though. You get a lot more one-on-one experience with either winemakers or people within tasting rooms, as it can tend to get a little bit crowded on the weekends. But yep, 7 days a week tours are available. Just go ahead and give us a call and we can make it happen.
What are some of your favorite stories of some of the groups? Because you get to meet a lot of different people driving them around in wineries.
Absolutely, yeah. Really people from all over the country, all over the world, and it's really a lot of fun to have so many different people really all enjoy and come here to Walla Walla for the same thing, for wine. And in a way, wine is kind of a universal language, and we all speak it and come here for really the same reasons, to find world-class wines and some food as well, perhaps.
Any funny stories?
Well, I've had a couple instances here and there of people maybe enjoying their day a little bit more than perhaps they should have. But you know, each tour is different. Every group is unique, and really I look forward to each and every tour, as no two are quite the same.
Right. I'm assuming this is just so much fun for you.
It's almost too much fun. I do have to pinch myself to know that this is truly now my full-time job, but really it's my passion, and to be able to go out and do what I love every day, I think that makes me pretty dang lucky.
Vital Wines in Walla Walla has a business model unlike that of other wineries. We spoke with owner and winemaker Ashley Trout about what inspired her to do something completely different. Your vision behind Vital Wines, because it's different than most wineries, you're giving back sort of to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're trying to do with Vital is all profits go to the SOS clinic here in town. The goal is to provide better health care for vineyard and winery workers here in the Walla Walla Valley. And the SOS clinic is an open door, no questions asked, free bilingual healthcare clinic. And they're seeing a lot of vineyard workers. So we're trying to close that loop and make sure that we're having that conversation and taking care of everybody.
What was the reason behind opening a winery like this and for you giving back to the community?
Yeah, there are a couple of reasons. So growing up, I was raised by my surrogate grandmother who only speaks Spanish. And as a kid, we would wind up doing a lot of the translating, my brother and I, in doctor's offices. And it's not the end of the world, but it's a tough situation for families to be in. So that's part of it, that I think the bilingual healthcare system in a town where so much agriculture is happening because of people speaking both languages, it needs to be dealt with honestly and thoroughly. So that's part of it. But then another part of it is it's very tough to get healthcare in the wine industry anyway. So when you look at Washington wineries, a lot of Washington wineries the vast majority of Washington wineries are newer, younger, smaller, and so what that means is you've got a lot of sort of mom and pop shops that aren't hiring people full time. So you've got somebody in the tasting room 1 day a week maybe, or you've got somebody on the crush pad for 3 months out of the year and then not after that. And so if you're a young fledgling company and you don't have any full-time employees, it's very hard to provide healthcare for those employees. I think the faster you can treat the winemaking community as one community, not two, the faster people are going to be happier and healthier, and the wines are going to be better, and everything's going to improve.
Yeah, and the donations that you have coming in from everyone, talk more about that.
It's insane. It's insane. We have donations from vineyards, bottle companies, cork companies, capsule companies, label companies, shipping supplies, yeast companies, you name it, lab, it's everywhere.
And I've seen the list on the website. It just kind of goes on and on. It's amazing the involvement and how people are just willing to give back.
Yeah, well, and this year, every year has been an increase in sort of the who's who of the vineyard world. And winery world, for that matter. So everybody has jumped on board, and we've got, for vineyards lined up this year, we've got Patina and Seven Hills, Clipson, Larry's, Summit View. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch. French Creek Vineyard. It's a pretty cool list of who's who in the Washington wine industry.
And you've said that you've had to actually turn grapes away?
So in just our second vintage, we had to turn down 29 tons of donated fruit.
That's wonderful that you have that much just coming in for you to make this wine. And so the bottle that you have, the bottle that's available for people to purchase that's giving back, explain to me the kind of the wine that you make for them.
So what's really fun about Vital is not only do we have vintage variation where the weather is different from year to year, and as a winemaker you have to contend with that, but as the Vital winemaker you also have to contend with donation season variation, right?
That's true.
Just because a vineyard donates one thing one year, it doesn't mean that they're going to donate the same thing the following year, right? Which is super fun. So I kind of take that and run with it, and like I said, we're certainly not scraping from the bottom of the barrel. If we're declining 29 tons of free fruit, that's not the issue.
Yeah.
But what the issue is how do you say yes to a lot of the people who are really excited to participate, who have fantastic fruit, and yet provide really incredible wines that maybe aren't consistent from year to year, but are beautifully made and work together in blends. So you're going to see a lot of blends coming out of Vital for that reason.
And you're having fun just making these wines with the grapes that they give you?
Fun is an understatement. Yeah.
We're back here in Walla Walla today at Vital Wines. I'm sitting down with Paul Cockrell. He is the general manager here at the winery. First of all, let's talk about how you and Ashley kind of met up and got involved to create such an amazing winery that gives back.
Oh, well, this is certainly Ashley's creation, and I was lucky enough to stumble upon it. But Ashley's one of the first people that I met here in Walla Walla when I was coming out to look at joining the Enology and Viticulture program here. When she started Vital, I wanted to swing by and see what she had going on, and I walked in on day one, and I'm still here. How
has the community been as far as coming in, tasting wines, and learning more about you guys giving back to community?
Well, we have a great community here, so everyone's very supportive. This winter, the winter's a slower time for us, and everyone that was coming in on a day-to-day basis was all from Walla Walla. So everyone that we see, or at least in the spring, was all from town, and the other wineries continue to send people to us every day now.
What about for someone who can't come into the tasting room? Is it easily accessible to buy the wines online?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to vitalwinery.com, and we have wines for purchase on there. We also have a wine club. It's 6 bottles twice per year, and you can sign up for that, and it's very easy.
In the foreseeable future, how do you see Vital Wines doing?
I see Vital Wines doing really well. We always, everything that we do is from donations, so what we're looking for still are probably more donations.
We're back out in Walla Walla at Vital Wines, and I'm joined by Paul McLean. And your special connection with them is the SOS Clinic. You bring the people in from the vineyards and you help them out. Why did you want to get started in this business with Ashley?
One of my favorite stories about Ashley is that when she joined the board of directors, she came in and sat down next to me at the table of the directors, said, "Hi, I'm Ashley Trout. I'm your new board member." And from then on, things changed.
Yeah.
We were blessed by her energy and her enthusiasm to do something good for the patient population and the demographic that the clinic serves. Her idea for Vital came up over a period of months. She wanted to do something that was meaningful to help the needs of the clinic. SOS Clinic's a nonprofit. Now, a nonprofit environment is tough. Funds are always a problem. There are a lot of needs, there are a lot of different agencies, and donors are scarce sometimes. But Ashley created the idea for Vital Wines to be a funding source to support the activities of the SOS Clinic, realizing at the same time that this actually was supporting the workers of the wine industry directly. And that whole thing just kind of fell together and made sense to everybody. One of the nice things about the relationship with Vital has been that it has allowed us to turn our attention from scraping around for money to actually doing the business of providing the health care. And we've been able to purchase some durable medical equipment. We've been able to purchase some instruments that we didn't have before. We've been able to set our providers on an electronic health record. All these things are quality issues that concern me as the medical director. The folks that work in the wine industry generally do not have insurance, or if they do have healthcare insurance, it tends to be pretty minimal. So these are folks that are either uninsured, don't have any healthcare insurance at all, or underinsured is what we call them. They would go without if SOS wasn't around.
Are you happy with everything that you're doing?
I'm really excited about what we're doing. I want to continue doing it. Yeah. I am happy to.
Walla Walla Vintners was one of the first wineries in Walla Walla. We talked with the new owner, Scott Halliday, about the winery's founders and their vision for the future of the Walla Walla Valley.
You guys were the 8th winery here in Walla Walla. You were here when it first started. I want to go back to talking more about the history and who started it. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, our 2 founders, Gordy Winery and Miles Anderson, were very close friends. They were making wine together in the 80s and were mentored by Gary Figgins of Leonetti Cellars. And through those late 80s, they definitely perfected their craft and decided to become a commercial winery in 1995. Being the 8th winery in 95, they thought they were late to the party. Now, 20 years later, there's 150, 160 wineries.
Wow.
So we're very lucky that we had a number of pioneers that were willing to do something new and different here in Walla Walla. So Gordy and Miles both retired last year after 21 years as a commercial winery, and they've come a long way from those first 600 cases. In 1995, they made 300 cases of Cab Franc and 300 cases of Cab, and they were concerned that whether they were going to sell it all or not. So now we're significantly larger than that, and we owe a lot of our current success to a lot of their hard work and dedication.
What was their vision for this winery when they decided to open it?
From what I understand in conversations with both Gordy and Miles, they just wanted to host friends. It was more about the camaraderie and the extended friendships that they had cultivated over a long period of time, and everybody knew that they were amateur winemakers, and they wanted to share that with more of their extended friends and family.
Now you're obviously the new owner here. What do you hope to continue to do with Walla Walla Vintners?
The goal is really to just keep the product quality as high as it's been over a long period of time. Our style, as you talk to Bill von Metzger, our winemaker, is very restrained. I think we're a bit different, and really carrying that tradition forward is a big part of what I want to do. And at the same time, just make sure that we expand out our presence, not nationally, but a little bit more regionally. So those people that are thinking about coming to Walla Walla as a wine destination interact with our wines in either Seattle or Portland or San Francisco or Boise, and I'll make sure that Walla Walla Vintners is a destination when they decide to come here.
And this is such a unique property too. It has that rustic feel when you come in here, just along the blues here. Tell me more about the property itself.
We're very lucky to be on the east side of town here. There's so few opportunities to visit a winery where we have both tasting room, production space, as well as a vineyard all around us, and it's just a nice and relaxing place to bring your friends, family out here to taste and have a picnic and really enjoy an afternoon.
And how would you describe the wine that you're producing here?
We use very much an old world style process. We use all 1.5 ton alfalfa bin fermenters, none of which are temperature controlled. If we need to cool down a fermentation, we take that bin from our production space and just move it outside for the evening to cool it down. We also use a very small basket press. We don't do any fining and filtering on our products. We also have a culture of blending. So all those different stylistic traits lend themselves to, or are more in line with old world processes that I think tend to yield more delicate, pleasurable, and restrained wines.
One of Walla Walla Vintners' specialties is the red blends. Winemaker Bill von Metzger told us about the art and the process he goes through in making these blends.
Almost all the wines that come out of Bordeaux are going to be a blend of one form or another. Legally, something like a cab has to be 75% Cabernet in order to be called by its varietal name Cabernet Sauvignon. So we have that 25% kind of grace to add a little bit of Merlot, to add a little bit of Cab Franc, to add a little bit of another grape variety, something that will create kind of a complete wine, a balanced wine. It's the easiest way for me to describe it is like seasoning a dish. You can have your entree, you can have your ribeyes or whatever, but a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of butter or Worcestershire, or whatever it is that you prefer to use, goes a long way to creating, enhancing the flavors that you want and creating really the meal.
Right.
So a lot of what we do revolves around blending.
So I'm going to start off, we're going to take you through a day. Say you wake up, this is going to be your day, you're tasting wines, or you're going to be blending wines.
Sure.
How do you get set up for it?
You have a pretty nice breakfast, because even if you're spitting, even if you're not swallowing the wines that you're tasting, you do still end up swallowing some of it, and it can be a long day. So you always start off with a pretty nice breakfast. And then if we're doing blending trials, it's a matter of collecting samples from all the lots. You collect them from the barrel room. We'll go down into the barrel room with a thief and a pitcher and get all the wines that we need. And we'll come back here and I'll have a kind of a set of 6 or 8 wines that I wanted to blend. And then I'll put them together with the various components in various percentages. And then we'll taste them and sit down and taste and evaluate each individual blend. I usually try and do it blind with whoever's here that can give me a hand, that's willing to taste with me. And then we'll kind of talk about each individual blend and what the components are, and then fine tune it from there and make some adjustments. And then either later that day or come back on another day, we'll taste again. So we'll just keep refining it until we find ultimately the blend that we want to see for our finished product.
Right. Take, for instance, the cuvee.
Sure.
How long does it take to kind of come up with a bottle like this, and how many trials and errors do you have when it comes to making the bottle?
It depends. It's so much of it is some of it, I can throw together something and just hit the nail on the head right from the start. There are so many times that you can put a blend together and it's just not quite what you're looking for, and you can fine tune it and fine tune it and fine tune it and still not quite get the flavor profile that you want. And so really if something's not working, the easiest thing to do is to stop, put it all away and revisit it on another day when your palate's going to be a little bit different and maybe you'll find the thing that you're looking for.
How fun is this for you to be so artistic with these wines?
It's a lot of fun, and that's really what keeps me loving my job, is that ability to kind of start kind of each day fresh. I spend days out in the vineyard. I spend days here doing kind of some mundane barrel work. I spend days when I'm doing blending trials, when we're bottling, and so every day is kind of new and different, and every day the wines are a little bit different, and so each day they kind of bring something different to the table, and there's new things to discover, and there's new things to find in the wines themselves, new flavors, new blending potential. So that's kind of what keeps me going here.
3 tips that you want to give someone who's new to tasting wine.
Sure.
3 tips. What would you say?
Absolutely. Drink what you like. Don't be down on Merlot. It's really a phenomenal grape variety, and it's unfortunate that it has the reputation that it has. And Washington State makes some really, really incredible Merlots, and they're worth drinking. And 3 is be adventurous. Try new things, and try it with food, and try it with friends, and that's what wine is for. It's not necessarily to come to a tasting room and sample some wines. It's to gather your friends and family together and have a meal and share it with them then and share those experiences. So those are the 3 things I've got for you.
Perfect.